Data encapsulation. In our previous example, our dress class contains some public properties like size and color. So the code that is outside the class can directly access and change the values of these public properties. Like here we are accessing and changing the value of size property. It is not a good practice and it may be very dangerous in some situations. For example, in car class, the speed of a car would most definitely be private, not public, because another program should not be able to stop a car by just setting its speed value to 0. So, speed should be declared as private, and we should provide a method that can change the speed of a car, like accelerate, and a method that can stop the car, like brake. So, the only way an outsider can change the speed of a car is to use accelerate method. And the only way an outsider can stop the car is to use brake method of the car class. Another example is suppose we are making an application for the bank that handles the customer account details. So we have a class account with the property balance. If we declare this property as public, then anyone outside of this class can access this balance property and can change its value to any amount they like. So again, we have to declare this balance property as private, and we should provide public methods in our account class to access and change the value of this balance property. This is called data encapsulation. Data encapsulation is one of the most important concepts in object-oriented programming. It is the process of hiding the class data from outside world, and only the code that is inside the class can access and change the data. Using data encapsulation, we keep the data safe from outside the world. How to implement data encapsulation? We can implement data encapsulation in 2 steps. First, mark all properties private. Second, provide public methods to access and change the private properties. So in our account class, we will mark this balance property as private. Now the code outside the class cannot access this property. So for the outside code, we need public methods to get and set this property. And we have defined 3 public methods here. First method is deposit, which will be used when a user wants to deposit some amount in his account. It will just add the given amount in his balance. Second one is getBalance method, and it is only returning the value of the balance property. This method will be called when a customer wants to check his balance. Third method is withdraw. This will be called when a customer wants to withdraw some amount from his account. It is taking the amount to be withdrawn as an argument. In this method, we are checking that if a given amount is less than or equal to the total balance, then subtract it from the total balance and withdraw the amount. And if amount is greater than his total balance, then show him a message that insufficient balance. So here you can see that this account class is well encapsulated. The data and the code that operates on the data is in a single class account. The data is safe from outside world and no one can misuse it. Real benefit of encapsulation. The real benefit of encapsulation is to manage change. You can change your mind later without breaking anyone else's code. Imagine that everyone is using your class with public properties, and one day you suddenly realized, oh no, there is something I didn't plan for with that property. So I'm going to make this property private and switch to public methods to deal with that property. And guess what? You break everyone's code. The cool thing about encapsulation is that if you get to change your mind later and nobody gets hurt. So that was all about data encapsulation. The end.